Hey, it's Melissa. Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 3, week 46, ending February 26, 2021. The Melissa method is my attempt to use the CanSlim trading methodology to buy and sell stocks and double my money. I'm not endorsing any stocks or suggesting that you do this in any way. I'm just sharing my journey. According to the IBD at investors.com, the market is in an uptrend under pressure. The S&P 500 index is moving in the wrong direction. It was down 2.4% for the week. It did not hold my blue support and resistance line at 38.76 either. It closed the week just above the 50-day simple moving average at 3,811. And Friday it closed in the bottom of the range and at the low of the week. My expectation based on price action this week is that the S&P 500 index will continue to fall next week. Let's hope I'm wrong and this index finds support at this 50-day simple moving average. I had one purchase this week, a buy two in 360 Digitech, which had sold by the end of the week. I also sold 5 of my holdings: IPO, NVIDIA, QFin, Roku, Skyworks, and I sold my B2 in Logitech. Every stock I own has a stop limit order, and if it is triggered, then the stock automatically sells. Initially, this is 8% below the purchase price, but I move it up as stocks make upward progress or if I see a better line above the 8% that was showing support and resistance in the past. My sell range is tight, typically 20 cents or so. Occasionally, a stock will gap down below the floor and sell on the way back up when it hits the floor from below. On Tuesday, February 23rd, almost all of my stocks opened below their floors, and I broke my golden rule and went in quickly and canceled all my floors so they didn't sell on the way back up. Lee Tanner says, have a plan for everything. Well, I didn't have a plan for this. Social Capital Something Holding Corporation, stock symbol IPOE. IPOE triggered the floor on Monday, and I sold this for an 8% loss at $21.68. Roku Inc., stock symbol ROKU. Roku opened below the floor on Tuesday, and I went in and just sold it at $407.55. I didn't wait to see what the stock would do. I just dumped it. I had 3 buys. My B1 I held for 4 weeks and I had a 2% gain. My B2 I also held for 4 weeks and I had a 0.5% loss. And my B3 I held for 3 weeks and I had a 5.5% loss. Skyworks Solutions Inc., stock symbol SWKS. Skyworks was another stock that jumped below the floor on Tuesday. I tried to give this some room and I reset the floor at the 31-day exponential moving average, but the floor triggered on Thursday and Skyworks sold for $176.71. I had 2 buys. My B1 I held for 2.5 weeks and I lost 4.2%, and my B2 I held for 2 weeks and I lost just about 7%. NVIDIA Corp, stock symbol NVDA. NVIDIA also opened below the floor on Tuesday. It recovered a little on Wednesday, and then Thursday it again dropped below my floor. I went in and I sold all 3 buys for a loss. My B3 I sold at $556.16, and my B1 and 2 I sold for $531.74. I had 3 buys in NVIDIA. My B1 I held for about 7 weeks and I lost 3%. My B2 I held for 2.5 weeks and I lost 8%, and my B3 I held for a week and a half and also lost 8%. 360 Digitech Inc., stock symbol QFIN. I made a B2 on Monday. I thought I was so smart. When the stock dropped 8% or so, I made a purchase. Tuesday, I canceled my floor before the market opened because QFin looked like it was going to open below my floor like everything else did. On Thursday, I sold my B2 at $24.95. I don't know why I didn't have an order in to sell my B1 also. So on Friday, I set my floor at $22.95, and it did trigger The difference between selling on Friday versus selling on Thursday was a difference of a 10% gain. I would have had a 31% gain on my B1 if I sold it on Thursday. Instead, I sold Friday and I only had a 21% gain in just under 4 weeks. My B2 I held for just the 1 week and I took an 8% loss on that. I'm still holding 2 stocks. Logitech International, stock symbol LOGI. I sold my B2 on Tuesday. I had held it for 3 weeks and I took a 0.5% gain. I'm still holding my B1 and I reset my floor at 103.23. I've held my B1 for 8 weeks and I have an 8% gain. For now, Logitech seems to be holding the 50-day simple moving average, so I hope that this makes progress. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, stock symbol TSM. TSM also jumped the floor on Tuesday and I canceled that floor. It seems to be holding up okay in this market until Friday when it dropped down to its 50-day simple moving average. I reset my floor at 122.48, right around the 50-day simple moving average. I do have 3 buys in TSM still. My B1 I've held for 3.5 weeks and I have a 0.5% loss. My B2 I've held for 3 weeks and I'm down 4%. And my B3 I've held for 4.5 weeks and I'm up 1.7%. The current holding bar chart shows 1 bar for each week I've held the stock. The dashed black line is the $10,000 B1 purchase amount. So you can see Logitech, I do have a gain in that because it's above that line, and TSM, I have a loss. Current dollar value gain sorted with the losers on the top. So TSM, I have a $217 loss in my B1 purchase versus last week I had a gain there of $1,465. And Logitech I have almost an $800 gain in, and last week I had $1,600. So not moving in the direction I want. The weekly percentage change, I also sort with the lowest value on the top. So TSM lost 7.8% last week and Logitech lost 7.2%. After 2 years and 46 weeks, my $100,000 has grown to 175,448. Versus the S&P 500 for the same time period has grown to 143,476. The week-to-week change shows the change in value from last week to this week. My current holdings from last week to this week went down $2,518. Stocks that I sold went down from last week to this week a total of $11,240. Ouch. And this one stock that I purchased this week had a loss of $462. The S&P 500 went down 2.4% this week versus the Melissa method went down 7.5% this week. And for the experiment year, which started mid-April, the S&P 500 has a gain of 36.6% versus the Melissa method only has a gain of 21.3%. Although I had a terrible week, it wasn't my biggest percentage loss, and I'm 83% in cash now. The cash percentage is good if the market continues to drop, but not so good if we have a recovery. I'm going to work on my stock picking process and wait for stocks to indicate when I should get back in the market. I'm most heavily invested in cash. I have a cash balance of $144,895. I have just over $19,000 in TSM, and I have $10,793 in Logitech. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel, The Melissa Method. You can also check me out on Twitter at Melissa Method.